to it. First, there's an interesting origin story from this tape. We just heard from David Fahrenthold, the reporter who wrote the story at the Washington Post, that he can't talk about how he got the tape. We do know that the tape was made during production of a segment for Access Hollywood, which is an NBC TV show. It was not NBC that released the tape, though. It did somehow make its way to David Fahrenthold at the what was going on when Donald Trump made these comments, who was around when he said these things, and also where the tape came from. Watch.
Access Hollywood has interviewed Mr. Trump hundreds of times over the past 20 years. In the course of reporting on Mr. Trump, we have reviewed much of our own footage. In 2005, when Donald Trump came to Los Angeles for the Emmy Awards for his nominated show, The Apprentice, he was also invited to spend a day as a soap opera star in Days of Our Lives. Access Hollywood's former anchor, Billy Bush, picked up Mr. Trump in our 10th anniversary bus at the Beverly Hills Hotel. We then brought him to meet up with one of the stars of the soap opera on the NBC lot in Burbank, where Days of Our Lives is shot and Access Hollywood was then produced. During the trip to the lot, Billy interviewed Mr. Trump about his role on the soap opera.
Well, the people at NBC asked me to do it. I'm here in Los Angeles. It's fun to do. I didn't want to do it. And then, they said, and I asked Melania, I said, okay, because the place is loaded up with beautiful women from what I understand. So she said, it's okay.
What if she said it wasn't okay?
I would have absolutely not done it.
We tell you all of the logistics so you understand the context. There were 7 other people on the bus with Mr. Trump and Billy Bush at the time. They were the 2-person camera crew, the bus driver, an Access Hollywood producer, a production assistant, Mr. Trump's security guard, and his PR person. Upon arriving at our NBC lot, our camera crew was let off the bus so they could record Mr. Trump getting off and meeting the soap opera star. What you're about to hear is what Mr. Trump said about former Access Hollywood anchor Nancy O'Dell to Billy Bush.
I moved on her, actually. She was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it. And I did try. She was married.
And then they played the whole tape, which you've now heard. Access Hollywood explaining tonight that in addition to the host, Billy Bush, to whom Mr. Trump was speaking, when Donald Trump said what he said on that tape, he was on a bus that also had 5 other people on it. The bus driver, an Access Hollywood producer, a production assistant, a PR person, and a security guard. Access Hollywood also gave us a statement tonight. They said Access Hollywood, as they mentioned in the report there, has interviewed Donald Trump literally hundreds of times over 20 years. With Mr. Trump's nomination as presidential candidate, Access Hollywood reviewed its extensive library footage and discovered these comments. After Access Hollywood discovered these comments, it's still not clear how they got to the Washington Post before Access Hollywood could report them themselves. It's also not clear if Access Hollywood has more of this kind of material on Trump, or if anybody does. As I mentioned at the top of the show, the production company that makes The Apprentice, they are now under renewed pressure to release their unbroadcast footage of Trump on the set at that show after the AP reported earlier this week that Trump made, or allegedly, repeated aggressive and lewd comments on camera on the set of that show about female cast members and even about one camera operator. A couple of things to tell you about the response to this tonight. The Clinton campaign put out a written statement calling the tape horrific. We mentioned that earlier in the show. But I should also tell you that the Clinton campaign has now put out a video. And at first, when you see that they put out this video, it looks like them just repurposing the video from Access Hollywood, and that is how it starts. But then they apparently moved very fast to cut these comments in, among other things that Donald Trump has said.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can't do anything. There has to be some form of punishment. For the woman. Yeah, there has to be some form.
He shook his finger at me, and he screamed, "You're disgusting," and he ran out of there.
I really think it's a bad idea to put your wife working for you. I don't want my wife shouting at somebody like that. The softness disappeared. She became an executive, not a wife.
If you become president, will a woman make the same as a man?
You're going to make the same if you do as good a job.
That ugly face of the
Roe versus Wade, consigned to